Today I want to check out this video from the channel EU Debates. This is Finnish President Alexander Stubb taking charge in Ukraine crisis ahead of Trump's visit. This is gonna discuss the EU role in the war. I mean, there has been so many protests throughout all Europe. Lots were held in Italy as well, supporting Ukraine. So yeah, I'm very interested to see the take of Finnish president on this matter. So let's check it out together.
Sure. Perhaps I'll answer through 2 points. I'll answer the question to Vladimir first. I think we need to get our facts right. When you look at support for Ukraine throughout this war, Europe stands as Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said earlier, at about 134 billion euros, more or less. The United States, roughly around 114 billion. I look around this table and I see NB8, so 5 Nordic countries and 3 Baltic states. We're actually at 26 billion euros, roughly speaking. So that's about a fifth of what Europe has supported. So yes, to a certain extent in the future, we're going to have to take more responsibility. But to get bogged down in who has given more, I think, is the wrong tack. The second point I have to make, it's not only about the material support, it's also about having skin in the game or having some kind of a plan. I think Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre put it quite well earlier when he said that we Europeans can't complain our way to the negotiating table. And my worry is that in the past 2 weeks, when we've seen a shift in the transatlantic partnership, and you'll know that I'm an avid transatlanticist, we have to wake up to a new reality. And then the question is, how do we get skin in the game? How do we get involved? I think a good start is what President Costa has done, is to call a European Council. Because right now, European diplomacy is rather cacophonic. It's all over the place. That's why I have, together with some colleagues, proposed that we sit down and think about a plan. And in my mind, that plan or sketch goes in 3 phases. The first phase is the pre-negotiation. That's where we are right now. This is when we have to think really hard how we put more pressure on Russia and basically how we support Vladimir and Ukraine and what kind of security arrangements we have. And if I may, just as a side note, I'm getting a little bit frustrated about this debate on boots on the ground, because that sort of misses the whole point. That is that the strongest boots on the ground in the world right now are with Ukraine. They have the land forces. Then it's a question about which phase and how Europe will come to support Ukraine. In the air, in the sea, with reconnaissance, with intelligence, etc., etc. The second phase of the plan is when the ceasefire begins. And that's actually quite crucial, because that's when you start looking at the modalities and the agenda of the actual negotiations. And that's when you start looking at confidence-building measures. And then the third phase is the peace process. And that's when you start talking about the big issues of territory. And that's when you start talking basically about recompensation.
I mean, this man just speaks the truth, right? What the hell? I mean, he's basically explaining it. Trump, what has to be done is want to just skip at the peace treaty. Just like, bro, he wants to have another Versailles, basically.
About justice, which President Zelenskyy was talking about earlier. So what I'm trying to say is that I think we in Europe, we need to get our act together. And in order to get an act together, you have to have a plan to the Americans. Because if you don't have a plan to the Americans, you're not going to get involved in negotiations. And right now, the negotiations are happening above our heads without any kind of a plan and strategy. That's why I think this meeting has been extremely important. And that's why I think that the next 2 weeks are crucial also about the future of European security.
Wow. Bro. I mean, I've reacted before to the Finnish president. There were many comments, as I was expecting, actually, because of course there's gonna be people not liking their own president, complaining about some stuff. I'm Italian. We always do that too, so it's totally understandable. But you gotta face it. I mean, whenever he speaks, he always say the truth. You might not like the way he speaks, the way he delivers the whole thing, the whole speech, but at the end of the day, that's the truth. That's what has to be done. I mean, I don't really see any other options in this situation. You can just skip to the end like Trump wants to do it. I mean, what have we done all these years? Supporting Ukraine for what? To just hand it over to Russia? I mean, I don't think that's an option. I mean, I'm not an expert on this kind of matters, but from what I understand, yes, I really stand with everything that Alexander Stubb has said in this whole meeting. I really liked his words. So yeah, that was great. That was great. I'm gonna subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna leave you a link in the description so you go and check out the original speech. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm very curious, and don't be afraid of speaking your mind. Just try to keep it a little bit on the right level. You know, don't try to overdo it because Google might cancel your comment. I'm not gonna do it. I never cancel comments, but yeah, I mean, still a public place, so some political speech won't be accepted, of course. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you later with another one. Ciao, ciao.